So you joined me in a Mercedes A35 AMG. Looks absolutely amazing. You joined me here with the owner who met up, well, we were just saying now, we must have met up like 5 or 6 times
definitely,
at least.
yeah.
So in the A35, I've got my Focus RS here as well. We've just done a small little rolling shot of this car because it looks good, and you found a great place to park up.
Yeah.
Car's looking great.
Thanks, mate.
How have you been finding it so far? Because how long have you owned it now?
I've had it about a year now. So I remember a year ago picking it up from sunny Leeds. Yeah, right. No, it was actually snowing the day I picked it up.
And you drove your GTI Club Sport.
Yeah, my GTI Club Sport, and chucked it at them and said, "Give me this, guys," and zoomed off. But yeah, so it's basically been a year. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So yeah, for people who don't know, so you've had a few cars before this. You had sort of like the Golf Rs.
Yeah.
And the Mark 8 GTI Club Sport.
I'm about to turn 40 this year, and I think thanks, mate. Yeah. And I think when I was about 25, I started with the Golfs.
Yeah.
And I started off with a R32 in night blue. And that was basically where I fell in love with Golfs.
That must have sounded amazing.
Oh, it was amazing. Amazing. 3.2 V6. Yep. And then obviously they changed it from the Mark 6s to the 2-litre turbo.
Yeah. And
then I effectively had the Mark 6, I had the Mark 7, Mark 7.5 facelift. I then had the Mark 8 Club Sport. What
colour? Did you have a special colour for your Golf R?
The 7.5 facelift was like it was a very special, it was a new colour, I don't know if it's still out, but it was basically like a pearly silver.
Yes, I think
sometimes it looked white, sometimes it looked silver. In fact, actually it was called white silver.
White silver. And it's a really special one. Should we take a ride?
Yeah, we'll go right.
Yeah.
And I got that with the 19-inch black Pretorias. And that was a really nice looking car. And then basically over lockdown, one of the garages gave me a call and said, look, we've got these new fleet of Club Sports in, the R's aren't out for a while, would you like to sort of have a look at one? And I was sort of, yeah, up for a change, let's give it a go. And so I had that for about a year. And unfortunately, that's where I fell out of love with the Golfs and go left here.
Yeah,
just basically the infotainment system. So that was one thing, just buggy as hell, and even warning lights every time you started up the car. Little things like, you know, just a nightmare having to push buttons. You didn't know where to push. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. As I'm sure now everyone is familiar with all that stuff.
Yeah. I don't think they can ever get that one right. I mean, they're talking about maybe a facelift 8.5, but
where they're going to have to go backwards and add some buttons again.
Get back to like the way the Mark 7 was. Yeah. But and when we first met up when you had the GTI Club Sport, we had a good couple of times in that, and
the drive of that car was so fun.
That was the annoying thing, wasn't it?
So fun.
Like if it had just sorted.
Yeah. But it was little things like it was the 18-inch alloys were bugging me.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Why they did that as standard?
It was standard, and you couldn't get any other option because obviously of the whole problem with the production.
Yeah, and was that the standard in a normal GTI as well?
Yes. Yeah, so they were the standard GTI wheels.
Yeah, that's bizarre, isn't it?
And it's funny because I know lots and lots of people who absolutely love them. And to be honest with you, when I first got the car, I was like, okay, it's okay. They sort of looked a bit futuristic, but then it was just, as I said, with all the other problems with the car, with the infotainment, basically, I was just like, I got to a point, I was like, I'm not happy anymore. I wasn't happy getting into the car, I wasn't enjoying it. And I'd always seen these around and gone, oh, maybe one day I'll make the transition. And so I did. I literally just looked online, saw this, came up at SC.
Was it SCC?
SCC. Was it
SSC? Something like that
in Leeds.
I think I know who you mean. It's like they're a performance specialist up there, aren't they? Yeah.
Yep. And then literally rang the guys the next day and picked it up 3 days later.
So good. And again, when we met, the car market was even crazier, and your GTI clubs have barely lost anything.
I made $3 grand on it. Yeah.
And that's the world that we were in at that time.
Yeah, but don't worry, that £3 then went on this.
Exactly,
so
that's the
it's the
thing.
same as buying and selling houses, right? You're going with the market. So if you sell for less, you're going to buy for less, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the opposite.
But yeah, I have to say, just the first sort of 5 minutes of driving around in this, I absolutely love this car. It's, for me, it's one of those, it reminds me very much Golf R, like in terms of that one car can do everything.
Yep.
4-wheel drive,
100%.
Looks good, under the radar. You said the same as me, you know, got clients and stuff, and this is kind of why I have my Golf R as well. You know, it kind of does everything. And then when we pushed this and we had a bit of fun.
Yeah.
I remember it was one of the best drives I had.
Yeah.
And I've shared it on.
I still remember it.
Yeah,
I still remember
really
the drive.
good. And I'll leave in the description all the videos I've done on this. 'Cause I've done lots of decent shots and things, and it's good to revisit it because I think a lot of people who are interested in this would love to know, like, the ownership, like how you got on and how you. Well,
I think the biggest thing, as you just said, for me was being someone who is really into my cars and always looking for, you know, what could I change into next. This has been the first car in a long time where I'm just like, I love the looks. It's got a sort of a sleekness about it, but it also has that boy racery feel with the wing and the aero package.
Yeah.
But it has also that sophistication. It's all black. And to me, every time I look at it, I get excited to get in it.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing, and that's what, particularly on, like, we're on a Saturday on a weekend here. Should we take a left?
Yeah.
And they're nice, the V8s in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you have some downtime, it's like you want it to tick a lot of boxes. Yeah. And this really does. I mean, I find it super comfortable. I know it's got the adaptive as well, isn't it? Yeah. And it's so nice in here. We compared it to like a nightclub, like just like the inside of it was just really modern, really futuristic. The lights are really cool. Yeah. The glossiness of the infotainment, Mercedes did nail there. Yeah. Well,
it's funny you mentioned that because I was looking at the new interior for the 24 models.
Oh, okay, I haven't seen that.
And actually, I prefer this interior. Because
have they gone more touchscreen,
as you look at it, well, no, I think it's very similar. But for example, instead of it having the aluminum silver, that's just all black. So it's just, as you can see, you can't really make that many improvements. It's all so futuristic anyway, and it's done so nicely.
That's what makes facelifts really difficult, doesn't it? Because it's sort of like, we've designed a car, we've spent billions of dollars making it.
And to me, making that black actually takes away what I like about it. I like the contrast from the black and the silver.
And it's a little bit light. It's quite nice and light in here as well. You've got obviously with the pan roof as well.
Yeah.
And I think for these and for Mercedes in general, I think pan roof and a little bit of light in the cabin is generally what I would go through, because sometimes you can get quite narrow windows. Yeah. So if you have it, you don't want it too claustrophobic. Yes. And the light with the silver and the scranky dials.
And obviously they can't. They're not improving the screens. It's all touch screen. It's all digital. Yeah. So yeah, it's a really good all-round package. And what makes me smile even more is when I go past A45s, because there's two guys in my area who have A45s. Because obviously you see so few of them around. Because they're so expensive. Yeah. And obviously, if you're in the market for, if you're in the market for one of these cars, you're probably going to go for an A35 because it's 15 grand less, and on the road is as fast as you can need it to be.
Performance-wise, this is easily sort of like a 4-second type car, 60 if that's the sort of thing you're looking for. You can put all the power down. It's really, really good. Like, genuinely, and again, I say this a lot on this thing. I don't say this because you're sitting next to me. I do feel as this is like the one that makes more sense to go for. Yeah. And the whole aero kit thing, and again, if you can find an A35 with the aero kit, with the pan roof, with the right spec, that's great. Yeah. But they literally, the A45 is identical.
Identical.
Like, unless you're really sort of going close, and
there are the only differences are the exhaust. So instead of this, so you got 4 instead of 2. Yeah. But again, because they're quite tight together, again, that doesn't really make too much of a difference. It doesn't look too different actually. You have to really look at it. And I think the front grille comes in like a silver. Yeah. But again, for me, that wouldn't suit the look of this car because of the all black. So so actually it doesn't really appeal to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. And I can't believe how low this car is, and I think that's probably one thing to say to people: be careful of scraping. That's the possibility on the front.
Yep.
Should we take a right and spin it back?
Go left up the A3.
Let's go.
I'll put you in Sport Plus.
Might have to put the shut the pan roof just because of wind noise.
Yeah.
If that's all right.
Yeah. Go on, give it some go.
And that was just third gear.
Yeah,
no changes down.
No.
It's so nice.
And what I always said, I know I've said it in the last videos, is it's so smooth on its delivery.
The gearbox is great.
So smooth.
I don't know. Again, I'm trying to think of the A45. I don't know the massive difference in the gearbox. This seems more like better on the road, better transitions. And
I think it's one of those things, Sam. I think if you're someone who's got endless amounts of money, then sure, you go for the A45, and that's no problem. But the enjoyment you would get from this compared to an A45 in everyday life is exactly the same.
Well,
literally exactly the same.
Oh, exactly. And for us, you're working whatever. 40 hours a week minimum kind of thing like that. When you get the opportunity to have fun, it's very few and far between.
Like what you've just done there, down a little country road, maybe for 5 minutes, but in the real world, like how much more power do you need? I mean, this is 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, sort of thing, and
it will do that all the time.
I don't know how much faster I want to go. Before you have to slam on the brakes and worry about being put in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
In the real world, it makes no difference.
Yeah, and for us, we're sort of like we're coming more into an age where we're not that sort of like go full on anymore. And I think, to be fair, a lot of my audience are similar age bracket as well.
Yeah. But it's funny. I will say this, and this is probably to do with an age thing. But the guys who I've seen in A45s have been, probably 60 years old.
Really?
Older guys who have probably retired now, and they've gone, right, just for a bit of fun, let's grab one of these. But all the guys I see driving this, and there are a couple in my area as well, are like, dare I say it, footballers. There's lots of footballers in my area.
Yes,
And this is very popular with them. They love them.
It ticks a lot of boxes.
But do you know what? This is still the only one that I have seen with the alloys that I have. Every other model I've seen has the standard little silver ring around
left, is it?
Go left. Yeah. This one, I think, because it was a Euro spec that he got delivered over, the owner. Yeah. It's, for whatever reason, these wheels you could only get at that time in Europe.
And you were saying, and we spoke as well last time, you've done something with actually like painting the hubcaps as well, because Mercedes again have, and a lot of German cars have an issue with, you picked this up with what, 1,000 miles?
Yes.
And it had little bits of rust in it, which I've noticed in my Golf R, you notice in a lot of cars, and it looks great, by the way. That was the first, and I go to it and I'm like, that makes the car look.
It just finishes it off. If you look at most other cars, when you look inside the wheel arch, particularly if you've got nice big alloys, you see this horrible rust. And it's like,
and I don't know if it's because of the rain in this country.
Well, no, I've been told what it is. It's a lot of people taking their cars to these cleaners with the acid, and apparently when you've been driving and all the brake discs and all that area are hot, then they spray that acid on, and apparently that's what causes the rust, or definitely accelerates it.
Okay.
And that's why you see loads of cars with it, because everyone's going into these drive-through car washes. They spray that corrosive acid stuff, which cleans the wheels really well, but apparently it reacts with the heat in the brakes.
Yeah, and I guess the thing is, that's not great at all, and a bit of a letdown. So there's little touches that you can do to kind of make it great. And I don't know if you get I don't know why he went out. Nope. Always on your toes when driving.
Yep.
And I think if you're gonna, for me and for you, it's the same kind of thing. If you're gonna go for spec, you could go for the more subtle one and not with the aero kit. It's not going to add to any performance really.
Nope.
But I would seek out an aero kit one. Probably will help you in residuals as well, no doubt, if you went for something like that. Is the adaptive standard, do you know?
No.
Ah, okay.
I think that's all part of a package.
Okay, I would
like a comfort package.
Yeah, I would definitely go for that.
So this basically has every extra package you could get on it.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you got to go for it. Got some big type R.
It was a fully spec'd. Guy in Scotland bought it. Had it over. I don't know how he did it. How he got that sort of Euro spec. But as I said, it's that.
There are all these sort of like weird models that come out, and you kind of get in there at the right time. And
well, you know, it depends on where you are with what options you have for cars.
Yeah.
So these wheels were only for the European market.
I just love it. It's special, and I'll be honest, I cruise quite slowly as well.
Yeah.
I reckon you can get over 40 miles per gallon on this. I reckon on a run.
Yeah, for sure.
Which really helps.
In comfort mode, chilling. Yeah.
Just relaxing. Yeah. It is comfortable for me, but again, I don't know people's tolerance. It's going to be more firmer than a normal basic A class.
The general feel, like if I've got my partner in the car, or I don't know, whoever it is, just someone who's maybe, you know, she has like a 4x4, it's a softer kind of like, you know, but as soon as people get in this, they go, oh, wow, this is cool, this is it's like being in a go-kart.
Oh, I love it, and
because it's so low, but it's also very comfortable.
Well, that's the thing. It's definitely, I mean, it's probably more comfortable than both. Like the Golf R I've had, when let matey cross the road. Yeah, I mean, have you had any problems? Have you had any glitches or anything? Because that's the one thing that I think.
No, and I remember you asking me that last time. No, it still has.
It boots up, it starts, it doesn't do the whole lagging stuff where you get.
There has been not one issue.
And it's so glossy as well. You get the rich sort of pixels.
Yep.
Don't trust anyone around here.
Nope.
Not
everyone's dancing around.
Nice. I know.
Oh my god.
It's like.
Oh, here we go. I'm just going to walk across.
It's just my pride and joy. It's
my child.
Like
They'll
the most important thing in my life. I am not even going to look when crossing the road.
Incredible.
Yeah. Oh, DBX.
Yep.
Potholes, I'm going to have to mention that. They're just awful in this country. And
in this area, it's the worst.
It's so hard. This feels okay over them, but you've got to be careful with 19-inch wheels.
Yes, you do.
And to be fair, any car, 18s or whatever, you have to be aware.
If you went into one of those holes wrong, this would be horrible.
You could even buckle the wheel, you could do a tyre in, mess up the alignment. And those are the realities, unfortunately, if you have it in the UK. But I mean, you use this is more like your fun car already. It's not like your daily commuter as much, is it?
This is my daily.
Yeah, it's your daily, but you're not mega miles.
No.
Yes. No. And that's where it works. I think if you have a car, and I've noticed this more as I've got older, and you do crazy high miles, you kind of lose the specialness of the car.
For sure.
Like you walk up to this and it's like, oh my god, I own this. It looks freaking amazing. But if you would sort of like, 10,000 miles a year in it, 6-7 months in, you're just going to be like, oh yeah, that's just my car.
My commute and everything I do is no more than a couple of miles either way.
And I think that works, particularly in an age where we're going more to like electric stuff, which we're not particularly keen on.
Nope.
I mean, there's literally bricks in the middle of that.
I know.
Can you believe it? A lovely GTS. Boxster.
Yeah, he's quite funny actually. He's always out there washing his car.
Really? He's got his number plate says Boxster as well.
Yeah.
They are nice.
Yeah.
So I guess there's like a little, as we've done sort of like little summary on this one. Would you recommend it?
I would seriously recommend it. As I said to you off camera earlier on, for me the biggest gauge is that I'm not online looking at cars. I can't remember the last time I was online looking at cars, because since I got rid of the Golf, I just love this car. It does everything that I need it to do. Every time I look, I think that's the biggest thing for me is I love looks, right? So every time I look at it, every time I've just got it cleaned or got it washed, I look at it and I go, I love this car.
That's
and so for me, that's kind of it. So at the moment, there's no plans to look at anything else. So yeah, very reliable, very quick.
ticks
all the boxes for me. Very modern inside.
Yeah, I mean,
the look seems to be a look that won't really get old. I think they've styled it really well. It just sort of sits right.
Yeah, I mean it's super modern. I'll show it on camera as well on the fly. Yeah, I mean, you see what I mean about kind of like the glossiness of the whole dash, and it's a nice place. It's a really good car, and I think if you've seen the videos on my channel as well, I can recommend the A35. You know, I and even for me, I don't know as massive amount of Mercedes either. I've been more sort of the VW Audi group stuff, and obviously my fast Fords. But yeah, I can certainly go for it, and it's holding up well, and it certainly brings a smile to my face when I see it, and I think it does for you too. But
we're going to see Sam get one at some point one day.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's like a one car kind of thing. If you like combine, for me, for a Focus RS and a Golf R,
you probably do get this
potentially work. And I think they're great anyway. So yeah, final thoughts, or are we?
No, let's go and let's have a drive in yours.
Yeah, so another video is going to come up after this. You see what you think of the Focus RS, and we'll have a little bit of a comparison chat between the two. But yeah, cheers guys, and yeah, subscribe, plenty more content to come.